Today I'm going to do an Ocarina of Time Randomizer seed. This was last Sunday's EU Weekly. I did not run that at the time, so it's technically an async. I'm just kind of practicing running a randomizer seed at Fangame Marathon next month. So I just want to get in a bunch of practice. And that seed was convenient enough to get, so I grabbed it. Oh, excuse me. Alright, we're starting with the Prelude, and we're starting as child. Other than that, really much to say. Let's go. Okay. You know what? Let's do Kakos. Excuse me. People like to avoid Kakos because it's one of the slower checks, but we're here at Child Kakariko, so I might as well do it. This is a Sphere 0 check, which means you don't need any items to do it. Sphere 0 checks are very important. If I climb up all the way here, I can side hop onto the roof. Talk to this guy and get the heart piece. Okay, so that's the hook shot. That's pretty cool. So in the vanilla game, that's a heart piece. That's why I called it the heart piece. In Randomizer, anything can be basically anywhere. Or more accurately, all the items in 100%. So heart pieces, upgrades, like stick and nut upgrades. Camera, please. And chests. All those items are put into a big pool and redistributed randomly. Should be 4, right? Yeah. And yeah, they're redistributed back to those places, but randomly. So normally the hook shots in Dampe's grave. In this seed, it was Roof Guy. Water Temple is a foolish choice. A lot of money. Oh. So what that means is I don't know where anything is, but I know I know where everything is, but I don't know what's in it or where the good stuff is. So the layout of the game is all normal. The maps all go the way you would expect them to go. The enemies are all in the same place. It's just what's in the chests is a surprise. Actually, so Cuckle Lady is usually a bottle, but this seed, it was a heart piece, which means we didn't have to do it, but that's fine. See, we're 3.5 minutes in, and I've basically done 3 checks, so like 3 minutes of that was doing Cuckos, which is why people like to skip it, because it's a very slow check. but it was Sphere 0. And the significance of that is, well, I guess what Sphere 0 means, like I said, you don't need any items to get it. The significance of that is you're more likely to get useful items on lower spheres, because the seed is generated with logic, which basically means it fills in the stuff that you can access. So Sphere 0, stuff you can access with no items. And then it checks, can you beat Ganon or access more checks? And if you can't, it will reroll. So if it puts all the items into, super far away checks, you're not going to be able to beat the seed. So it can't do that. It just can't. It's much more likely to put, it has to put at least one item into Sphere 0. But it could put all the items into Sphere 0. Not very likely, but it's just, as the math works out, it's slightly more likely to put useful items into lower spheres. So it's usually a good, mathematically speaking, it's a lot more value to clear out Sphere 0 checks. Even the bad ones. Another thing to note is the songs. So normally Malin teaches you Pona's song, but right there I learned Song of Storms. The songs are all randomized between each other, and songs also obey all the logic rules. Songs are really good. Song of Storms opens up, for instance, bottom of the well, 4 or 5 grottos that all have items in them. There's 6 warp songs that take you very long distances in a very short amount of time. Those are really good to get. So generally you want to prioritize songs because they're generally better. Collecting Cuckoos is nothing. I already got that. Skull Mask is Kokiri's sword. Graveyard is Path to Baronade. Skull Mask is Kokiri's sword. Oh, I don't have my notes up. Sunsong Grave is Choose. Choose is a lot. I might actually get that if it's convenient. What was it? Great. I need to go back and check. Something is Path to Baronade. Graveyard is Path to Baronade. That's what I wrote down. Sorry about that. I usually have notes up. Alright, so I'm gonna go adult and check the pedestal to see which dungeons I have to do, but I'm probably just getting Skull Mask, because it's actually pretty easy. My save warp gets me to Kakariko. Hand in the Kyoto Mask, and I have the warp song for Temple of Time. Let's see what time of day it is. Doesn't look like it's about to turn night, so I'm just gonna go. Cack is on the path to Phantom again. Well, I got hookshot there. Please jump down. Since it's only a couple screens away, it's a little bit faster to run here than it is to warp, because you do have to wait for the warp cutscene to play. Phantom. Hookshot. So I know I have to do Forest Temple and Jabu, because those hints are for bosses of those dungeons, and it's not going to give me hints for dungeons I don't have to do. But when I read the pedestal, it'll tell me where all the dungeons are. So, Deku Tree, Water, Spirit, Jabu, Forest Fighter. Alright, save warp. Oh my goodness. What am I doing? Sorry about that. Spilled something on the floor. Okay. Please climb up on the stone. So I'm gonna head to Sacred Forest Meadow to get the song, but first I'm gonna get all the checks in here. So this is chest size matches contents. So all these small chests don't have items I need, but they could have bomb shoes. So I'm generally going to open chests early until I get bomb bag, because if I get bomb shoes, I can use them to blow up stuff that bombs would normally blow up, and that could be a huge skip. Bombs are a very useful item. Source domain is a foolish choice. This is one of those grottos hidden by the Song of Storms. 20 Skulltulas is a bow. Okay, so that's kind of annoying, because 20 Skulltula bow could be the first one. And that would let us... That could be what's keeping us from doing Forest Temple. So I might have to go run around and get a bunch of Skulltulas. Alright, so Mido's in the way. He won't let us through unless we can play Saria's song. But, you can backflip over him if you get the right angle. A little bit precise. Oh, don't talk to him. There we go. So this isn't in the logic. The game doesn't think I can get back here. But like I said before, with the bomb shoes to blow up rocks and other bombable things, there are ways you can get around logic and do stuff that you're technically not supposed to do yet. So the rules of anti-standard are close to glitchless. You can do glitchless jumps like that one, just like find an interesting place to jump that lets you get somewhere you're usually not supposed to go. Source found on the path to Twin Robo. And other like simple jumps, like jumping over Mido, it's like pretty easy. Source found. Should write that down. Mountain is path to Twin. Alright, so that's the Nocturne. That's a good one. Please. I don't like this tracker. Lon Lon Ranch is the path to Volvagia. So I got Song of Storms there. And that's it. So I can't full clear forest, but I can do a couple checks, so I'm going to do them. Please. Also grab a couple Skulltulas here. Dungeons usually are good for Skulltulas. Forest is notably very good. So you don't have to go out of your way to get any of the skulls. These gilded chests always have keys in them, and the keys are always for the dungeon you're in. And the key logic of the dungeon is maintained that way. So another reason why I'm going into forest, even though I can't finish it, this is called dipping. Because I might have to double dip the dungeon now. It's because I know I'm going to have to beat Forest Temple to finish this seed, because Forest Temple is a medallion dungeon, and I need all the medallions to make the bridge appear to get to Ganon's castle. Fighting these guys without a shield is kinda scary. Because they deal a whole heart's worth of damage, and if they jump slash, they deal 2 hearts. Alright, nothing in here. So I got the hint that Kakariko's, that's another one. I had a hint that Graveyard is path to Volvagia, right? No. Graveyard is path to Baronade, which means I'm expecting Rudo's letter or Boomerang in a graveyard check. So there's these 2 Dampe ones. If I beat Dampe in under a minute, I'll get 2 checks. If I beat this race. Another one is Child Dampe Digging. I can only do that at early nighttime as Child. I have the Warp Song for that, so as long as I set time of day before going Child, I should be able to do that really quick. A big part of Randomizer is routing in stuff like that. Time-sensitive checks, please climb. Thank you. If you jump slash there while climbing, you just kind of pop up. It's a little speed strat, but yeah. So I'm expecting something here, but it might not be one of those checks. This big one could be it. Strength. So what that means is strength. The Boomerang or Rudo's letter, items that I need to beat Baronade could be locked behind strength, or it could even be something like silver scale to get into the Zora area. So it could, I'm going to continue checking graveyard checks, because it could very well just be somewhere, some other check in the graveyard. There could be 2 items in there. But I'm also going to prioritize checks that are locked by strength, like Dodongo's Cavern, for instance. Okay, so I got Minuet pretty early, so that out of logic check I did by skipping past Mido, I could play Minuet to get past him now. So that's all now in logic, so I don't have to worry about logic right now as much, because everything I did out of logic I'm now able to do in logic. I just got to do it in a more convenient order by doing skips. Not much here. So that thing I mentioned about strength and prioritizing it, Dodongo's Cavern is not one of the dungeons I need to do, but I can go clear everything up to the boss. There's like 2 checks I'd leave behind if I went and did most of it now. I'm going to do that. Mostly because it's just a good place for checks, but also because I got hinted that strength might be locking it, and everything in here is locked by strength or bombs, and I found strength first, so it could be that my only bomb bag is in here. So I'm just gonna make it a priority, I guess. So I'm backwalking, because backwalking is faster. For the most part. There's a bunch of different movement tech, movement speeds in this game, from rolling, side hopping, backflip, backwalking, and they're all useful in different scenarios, which is one of the reasons it's such a cool speed game, is that you're just always have to think about your movement. Ruby Skull closes a blue rupee. Oh, this is gonna be down. Probably should have waited. And just knowing like where to do what kind of movement sort of separates the medium players from the good players. Okay, I'm just trying to peek through this wall. If you I did this in the graveyard. If you roll into a wall and see up while your head is sort of forward, you get the see up camera partially into the wall, so you can kind of peek through and look at chests. So since we're playing with chest size matches contents, seeing that chest up there was a small chest means I don't have to go out of my way for it. That one is blocked by explosives, so if it's very unlikely to have a bomb bag in it, because it would have to be my second bomb bag. It could still happen, but if I could get in there, it'd be because I had explosives already, so so if there were bomb shoes in there, I would need bomb shoes already to get in there, so it's like not useful. And it also, like, now I don't have to run over there. It saved me a little bit of time. Alright, so I just got my bomb bag, which sort of helps support my theory that strength was a useful item, because it got us in here, and if that was the first bomb bag, then it was strength locked. doing the rest of the seed will hopefully let us know, but actually, I am going to pause this real quick and go to the bathroom. Sorry about this, but this has to happen, so be right back. that open. Oh, sorry about that. I usually don't stream such long categories on weeknights because I kind of don't have a ton of time after work and eating and whatnot to be super prepared. But since I am doing this on a weeknight, I just had to go start streaming, and if I wasn't fully prepared, I'm not fully prepared. Really. Get down. It's a small chest. So this trick I'm about to do is called a ground jump. I'm going to throw this bomb, roll into it, and oh. Okay, let it blow up on me. That's not the trick. Oh my goodness. Making this jump is annoying because you have so little space. So throw this bomb, pull up my shield, roll into it, try to pick it up. It's going to blow up, and now the next time I do a backflip or side hop, Link will just jump straight up like that. Not exactly sure why, it just kind of glitches him out. But it's one of the few tricks that's allowed, called a ground jump. Just lets you do a couple little small skips here and there. Why did he jump? Okay. Yeah, nothing that ground jump did couldn't have been solved by just going back to the ladder and jumping over to there, to where the bomb chest was. It is a little weird that is allowed in this rule set, but it is one of the easier tricks to do. There's no special timing you need to do. You just kind of roll into it, and it works. Alright, so this is King Dodongo, easiest boss in the game. I'm gonna do a quick 2-cycle. Like I said, I don't need to beat this boss because it's in an unrequired dungeon, but it does have a check. And hang on. But it does have a check, and if we get all the spiritual stones, which are the items that are usually a child gets the stones to open up the door of time and get the Ocarina of Time, we will get a song upon getting the Ocarina of Time. So if we need that song to progress, it'd be a good idea to get it. So that's why I'm doing this dungeon anyway, because I think I need bombs, logically speaking. But when I'm there and there's 2 checks, if I just go in that room and fight the boss, I should just go grab those 2 checks. There's no sense in not doing that. It's good time to item ratio. Anyway, here's another Song of Storms Grotto. Okay. So in Goron City, there is a maze. I'm gonna shoot this skull through. Collision. Oh, I barely missed. Zelda gasping is my low health noise. That's great. It's gonna catch up to me. Okay. Hate this check. I hate the timing for it. Please talk. Hopefully he's not like too close to the wall. I've had this Goron just refuse to talk to me and I had to leave and reload the area. I'm not exactly sure what caused it. Okay, he has a bomb bag too. So this was also locked by strength. You can get that with just the strength. So that's 2 bomb bags locked by strength, which makes it much more likely that there's 1 more bomb bag, so it's much more likely that that's the logic. Really. Whatever, let's jump around. Try to throw bombs. Okay, it's fine. Kokiri Forest is foolish. So I'm gonna swing my sword to hold it, and this will give me an upwards camera angle, and I can see that that's a small chest. I'm gonna let this bomb blow me up. That'll get me back out to the main area a little faster, and give me all my health back. Oh, I should probably mark off that I have bombs. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly pop over to the Lost Woods again, because there's a bombable rock here, and it lets me open up that passageway, and that will be open as child now. Ocarina of Time is Saria's song. I could continue. Oh, I could continue and blow up another rock, but I'm gonna go head in that direction as child anyway. So I'm just gonna leave that for later. I'm gonna make my way over to the Death Mountain crater. Please. There's a heart in one of these. The amount of time you have in this area is based on how much health you have. Piece. So I want a little bit more health if I can manage it, just so I don't burn up. Okay. So this lullaby is a very good song. So basically, if you've never played this game casually, when you get out of Kokiri Forest, you get into the main, like the Hyrule Field, the main, you get access to most of the game, but basically everything in the game is locked by Zelda's Lullaby. So it's not quite like that in Randomizer, but still a lot of checks are locked by this song. Hopefully I don't burn up. I wasted way too much time. If I can get in the fucking hole. If I can get in the hole, the time will reset. Because it only runs in areas where the floor is lava. So even though I'm still in the crater, if I go in that hole, game doesn't think I'm too hot. That's fine, only a small time loss. Kiri Forest, already got that hint. I'm gonna go up here. Because that's another hint. Dip back in this hold, reset my timer. And then make my way out to the top of the mountain. So I kind of want it to be nighttime so I can start collecting skulls. There's not much else I can do as adult because I already got a bunch of the songs. So I might just go back child and big pose as a recovery. Yeah. Yeah. So I need to set the time of day before I go back child, just because flickering. Because I want it to be early night to do Dampe digging. I already got a check in the graveyard, strength, which gave me bombs. So it's very likely that that was the path to Baronade, but by going into Ganon's castle area, it sets it to early night, so I don't remember if I ever did adult save warp, so I'm gonna try that and probably just warp back to Temple of Time, but oh, yes, I did. Now I remember. Okay. So yeah, we need our bow, which we can get with 20 skulls, but that's much easier to do as child. So we're gonna go to the Kakariko area. There's 5 skulls as child in Kakariko. We can't get them all, but get some of them. I'm going to do the Richard Heart piece, which is in Night Market. I will need it to be day to continue doing the mask side quest to get into the shop, but I'm gonna have to find something to do to pass the time, I guess, is how it's gonna work. Ooh, strength 2. So this is also strength 1. So that means either both of those strengths are required or it's something else in the graveyard. Which it could be both of those strengths. Like it could just be in spirit. Alright, so I'm going to do the Bomb Chew Bowling. she shows you what the item is, and it's something you don't want. You can just end the game by wasting all your chews. And if you don't want anything, you can just leave. Little weird, but I should have got the rupees here. Check that. Alright. So, I am going to do Dampe digging, but it doesn't cut. Time of day doesn't change in certain areas, so. This is one of them, just anywhere inside. So you saw me get a certain distance from the wall with the backflip roll combination. That's so I wind up with the stick broken in my hand. In this game, Deku sticks are an exhaustible resource. So whenever I swing one, it'll break. Whenever I hit something with one, it'll break, and then I'll run out. So if I can break my stick but still hold it. Okay, Serenade's Warp Song, but doesn't open anything. If I can wind up with a broken stick in my hand, then I can keep using it to kill all those enemies. So I pulled out this fresh stick, about a certain distance away from the torch and put it away, so my stick went through the torch. That's called flame storage. So the next time I pulled out my stick, it actually pulls out the stick where it was, which is right in the torch, and then it teleports to my hands. And by doing it that way, I catch the stick on fire much farther away from the torch than it's supposed to be, and that gives me just enough time to run through the grave with it and light that set of torches on the other side. Okay. So hammers also in graveyard. Where's Alright, so remember when I said there could be two items and we don't know? That is exactly what happened. So so it could be, so hammer and bombs kind of open up the same set of things. Really, but hammer opens up a little bit more, but only as adult. But no matter. We're just gonna go with it and check all those areas. So this is bottom of the well. This is a mini dungeon that you need to do normally to get Lens of Truth. It ends up being a sort of optional dungeon in Randomizer. That's a big chest. Alright. So since there isn't a dungeon reward like a medallion or a stone in here, it ends up being an optional dungeon, which means deciding whether or not to come here and do anything is sort of a decision you have to make. There's a ton of items there's a ton of checks in this dungeon for how small it is, but you need a couple items to get them. I have all those items and got them both pretty early, bombs and Zelda's Lullaby, so I thought it'd be a pretty good idea to come here. I already saw a couple big chests, so probably something required here. A thing worth noting, one of the keys was in a bombable rock, which means the key logic for this... What is that? Not... The key logic assumes you use the keys in the worst possible way. So, there's 3 key doors in this dungeon. 2 of them just lead to skulls, gold skulltulas. The other leads you to a couple checks. So if there's something, a required item beyond that, one of those, the one key that you need, the dungeon assumes that you need all 3 keys to get there, because it assumes you wasted your keys on the other 2 checks. So 2 keys were locked by bombs, which means for sure everything beyond that key door is assumed that I needed bombs to get to it. Rudo's letter was not bomb locked, but it was Zelda's lullaby locked. Oh. So, I do need Rudo's letter to get to Jabu. So, this was definitely something I had to do. There's an invisible chest here. I could do this with 18 sticks, but I'm gonna break a stick. If you let that hand grab you in the air, it won't hold you in place. Then you can go fight this guy. If you can jump slash at the right time, you can get him before he goes in the ground. Oh. So the hand's supposed to grab you, then the guy pops up out of the ground and runs and bites you while you can't move unless you can mash fast enough to get out. So just getting grabbed in the air is a way to not spend so much time trapped by the hand. If you jump up here, you can get out faster. Only works if that's a big chest. Ooh, another big chest. Okay, this last bomb bag was not bomb locked. Okay, there's a big chest in there, which is key locked. Okay, so bombs, strength to bombs probably wasn't it then, because you could get bombs in here with no items except the item you need to get in the dungeon. Very important to throw those nuts. There's a bunch of invisible holes in that room. Magic. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, trying to get this skull. Not sure if I can do it anymore. Because you can use the like to get you up there. But I killed the like accidentally. Okay. Worth it, because I need a bunch of skulls. Okay, fall down here. Where am There's another chest you can peek at through this wall. It's small. What was in that big chest? I wasn't even paying attention. Magic, right. But bombs was not it, so... Okay, just trying to piece together the logic. Sometimes you can't piece it together. It does get quite... people can piece it together. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes it is quite complex. And sometimes you just get... You miss like a Sphere Zero item for a couple hours, and then once you get it, logic doesn't matter because you can just do everything. Should be 10, right? 9. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to get all 20 here, but we can get the first 10. $20 is a bow, so I do want to work on that. So there is an invisible or a hidden grotto here. Blow up ground, kill these guys. Those enemies are so tall that if you jump slash, you hit them twice, once on their head, once on their feet, with the same thing, and that's why you can kill them in one slash. Usually they take like 4 hits. That's a wallet upgrade. That might be useful, might not. Oh. Don't run away. Okay, so I have everything I need to go open Zora's domain. So I'm probably going to do that while I'm here. Talk to this guy with the mask. There is a skull that I can't get. Because it's up on that ladder, and I don't have an item I can throw up there, but... So you remember earlier I opened this wall, but didn't grab the skull. Or didn't go in the wall. There's a skull in here. Please. Is this gonna work? Okay. Kill me. It'll just get me back to Kakariko with my health back. Without spending time of day. I probably won't have enough time to get to the top of the river. There's another skull at the top of the river. If I can get there while it's still night, I'll get it, but probably not going to end up working. Like it's so far away. But I do want to go open up Dabu at least. That'll... There's a bunch of checks I can get in the river that are all in logic now. Really. Definitely not making it if I keep doing that. Yeah, there's a bunch of checks I can get along the way, more as child than as adult, so it makes sense to do it. And then if I open up that area, I know that Zora's Fountain is Path to Twin Rova, which means Mirror Shield, because I already have Strength 2. Yeah, it's already turning day. I'm gonna bring this chicken over here, throw him into the corner. I'll buy 2 beans. I think I only need 1. There's a couple spots. Oh, no. I'm just gonna leave the area and come back then. You need to bring that chicken up the river to get all the stuff. I could just like go and check, but it's kind of a waste of time. Like if you see an item you need, you have to go back to get the chicken. And the chicken's just gone until I reload the area. Not supposed to drop it in the water. Please grab the chicken, not the rocks. Important note about that ring of rocks is there's a scrub grotto down there. There is a setting scrub sanity, which makes all the scrubs, the business scrubs, rather, sell you items that are in the pool. Really short hop. I'll drop the chicken again. Hopefully it finds its way to dry land. Strength 3. Barely. Just barely dry land. Okay, so if Strength 3 is required, then... So getting Strength 3 this early kind of leads me to believe that Strength in the graveyard was required for Strength 3, which is 1 check outside of Ganon's Tower. So I'm definitely going to try that check, because the logic... 40 is a bottle. The logic's sort of pointing me in that direction. Well-known range. Already got that one. And that was Song of Storms locked. So it might also be something that I need to beat Volvagia, but I already got the hammer. So don't think it's that. So I have everything I need to beat Volvagia except the bow, maybe. It's almost night. I might actually wait for this skull. And I don't need it, but I'm going to grab this heart. Because one of the secret hidden items you need for Volvagia is health. Frogs of Sword River is a slingshot. There's 2 rewards from the frogs. The first one requires Song of Storms. The last one requires all the other songs. So, now I know I don't have to come back. So I have a hint that Zora's Fountain has a required item and Zora's Domain is barren. So I'm not going to get anything in here, but I'm just going to open it up and do the 1 check I can do in Jabu Jabu's belly. Oh. There's a guaranteed stick drop and nut drop here. Those are kind of scarce items, in that you can only really get them in a couple places. So, worth grabbing them when you're low on that item. I can get Kokiri's sword. foolish. Already need that. Oh, I should grab the fish. So I need a fish to get into the dungeon, but only the first time. You can clip in, but that's not allowed in the rule set I'm playing in. I'm actually gonna enter this shop and leave it. This will reload the area, which means I'll get another stick. And nuts if I want them, but I think I already have plenty of those. I'll make my way up to Zora's Fountain. There's one check I can do as child. If it's the Mirror Shield, which is the thing I expect for Spirit, it won't help me do this dungeon, but there's still a small chance that it's Boomerang, which will help me. It's the only item I need to do the dungeon. Only item left I need, I should say. Plus it gives me a hint. Big pose. And this skull isn't here as child. As adult, rather. If I don't find it in this check, there's a couple checks I can do as adult. But one of them I need iron boots. So I might not rush out there. For the sole reason of you don't want to... I mean, it's good to know that I need iron boots and I have to come back, but it's kind of out of the way. So all the other stuff that I can do now, like get more skulls and do get bow, for instance, then do forest temple, fire temple. Like, there's a bunch of other dungeons that I can full clear. I'd rather prioritize those, because if I find iron boots in them, then when I come here I don't have to come back. So the only reason to do it in the other order is if it's convenient, like overworld travel wise. Oh, I can't actually get in here. Logically, I need a slingshot. But I can use these shoes or a well-timed bomb, but that's not in logic and really hard, so I'm not going to do it. I'll be a little careful with my shoes. Bomb shoes you can't find in like grass or anything like that, so they are sort of a finite resource. So if I run out, I run out. Generally speaking, bombs can do everything they can do, but sometimes there's like a skip you can do with bomb shoes, or a fast strat that's slightly easier with bomb shoes. Use Rudo to throw at this skull. Really? Oh my goodness. Grotto damages enemies. She's like a Swiss Army wife. Useful for switches, killing enemies, progressing through the dungeon. Ruda does it all. Oh, she also hits that switch. Normally you would need slingshot for, which I don't have, so I need shoe otherwise. The cycle in this room is fixed in Randomizer. Normally it always starts at the top, so you can jump on it when you enter from the top, or you have to wait for it when you enter from the bottom. They fix that in Randomizer because it's really bad otherwise. Angle. Alright, so normally you find the boomerang in this next room, and you need the boomerang to continue or do any amount of the dungeon. This switch will only go down if I'm standing on it with Rudo. Only thing in the game heavy enough to trigger that switch. Oh. Is this gonna work? Okay. So if this check is not the boomerang, I'm just gonna have to leave, but that's fine. Hover boots. Well, that's bad news, because I don't want to find that, because Shadow is a stone dungeon. I don't want to do stone dungeons, because they're, like, non-required, but if I got that because it actually is required, that just means it's more game I have to play. And I want to have to do as little as possible to make sure I finish in the 3.5 hours estimate, so more stuff is usually bad, and it could always just be bait. So it puts items in randomly. It doesn't, like, the logic doesn't know how much stuff it's letting you do, and doesn't try to make it manageable at all. It just kind of puts stuff down. Oh, I should probably, before I go, actually I'm going to open this because I'm short on money. So to remedy this and do something I should have done, there's always a 5 rupee in this. Alright, so I'm going to have to set it today so I can get the next mask, because there's a mask in, there's a check that needs the skull mask, and I got the hint that it's Kokiri sword, which will let me do the Deku tree. So I'm going to have to come over here, this 20 rupee that I left earlier. I'm just going to sort of waste time of day here while getting a check. Get another, already got that hint. There's another hint here that I can get if I need to waste more time of day. But I'm basically just making it day so that I can go back to the castle market and get the next mask. I probably should have just done this right away instead of warping to Lost Woods, but it's not that big a deal. Okay, Deku shield. So these guards are blind at night, but I still want to be a little careful. I could probably make it to the town by day if I just rush, but I'm all the way here. Let's read this stone. 50 is decades. Alright, so I don't need 40 or 50. I think I got the 30 hint. Where is he? Alright, so it will cost me money out of my pocket to get this next mask, which means I might be below the 40 that I need, but I can always get the 5 again. Actually, there's another skull I can get. could get a bottle of bugs. I might actually go grab bugs. So that'll get me the next two that I need. Hopefully there's bugs here. So the sooner I grab this bow, the better. But also I'm just going to be in a Deku Tree. So I don't actually need these bugs. Kakariko Village is on the path to Morpha. I don't like that. Because I already got Hookshot there. Which means there's more stuff. And I only wrote down one thing. I'm pretty sure the song there was a warp song. Could that be it? It's also not a great hint. Because I didn't. You don't want the minuet to be a hint because you can always skip it. Oh, what? I thought for sure that stunned him. So this guy sells you a nut capacity upgrade. I know, it's hilarious. But it's just one of the checks you need to get to make sure you've got... It's one of the checks that is an item in Randomizer, I should say. There's a hidden grotto here. If you show these guys your face and you have the skull mask on, they'll give you a special item. It also works with the Mask of Truth, but not in Randomizer. Because that's one of the longest checks. You have to do all the mask cuts, all the mask side quests to get the Mask of Truth, so it's like a 20-minute check or something, and that's just way too much. So sort of as a mercy, that's just taken out of the pool. You can add it back in, but it's not the settings we play with in weeklies. Sort of hesitant to do this. Like, this is a thing that I can do and sort of on the way, but I do worry that I'm being a bit too thorough. Because, like, I know I can go do Deku Tree, and then Fire, and then Forest. So that's 3 dungeons that I'm sort of waiting to do, and doing stuff like this that's technically open and I should worry about it, but sort of out of the way. Okay, that made it worth it. Like, you don't want to be thorough when you could go ahead and do stuff that you know you have to do. Like, I might not have had to do this. That being said, that was bomb locked. So maybe that's what that hint was for. But at any rate, I'm probably just gonna go... Well, now I don't need to do any more skulls. Unless 30 is, There's also a stick here. Guaranteed stick drop every time you're in the area. So you have to pull the bomb out at a certain time and get it in. Get an item. bottle. That's probably worth getting. If I end up doing blue potion. Blue potion will refill my health and magic, but I'm probably just gonna drink it to empty the bottle. If I end up doing ice cavern, it's way faster to have 2 bottles. That's why I got that at all. It's just because I'm potentially doing ice cavern. So normally this minigame, it's one of the slowest checks. You have to play this memory game up to 5 notes, then play it again up to 6 notes, then play it again up to 7 notes, and then after the 3rd time you beat it, you get an item. Right, left, up, right. But Randomizer just kind of quality of lifed it down to 1 playthrough at 5. There is another check I can get, but I need 40 rupees, so I'm just gonna skip it. If I'm back in the area, I'll get it. I can get those rupees now. Alright, so I'm going to talk to Mido. I have Deku Sword and Deku Shield, so he's going to let me through. So I have most of the hints. I'm just going to get this one. If you climb up the roots, you can go around the tree. And there's another hint sort of hidden over there. Normally I get it, but I have all the path to hints and the Baron hints. So I have all the like good hints. Or most of the good hints. And like I know a bunch of dungeons, so I might just be in go mode after I get all the dungeons anyway. I'm just gonna not spend a minute getting that hint. Generally you just get all the hints, because hints are super powerful. Like knowing that Kokiri's sword was on Skull Mask. Like I'm not doing Skull Mask till 2 hours in the seed when I'm super bottlenecked and stuck. Otherwise, like it's kind of out of the way. Like I pick it up as I do the other stuff and it makes sense to do it at no extra time, but like I wouldn't have gone out of my way to get it unless I got that hint, and it was an item I needed to do this dungeon that I have to do. So getting that hint ended up being very good for me. Holy fuck. Did not expect to fall off the top of that. Where? Oh my goodness. Usually these guys are not this annoying. They only charge at you if they're facing you, and usually they don't face you as much. They just kind of move randomly. Alright, those are both small. There's a skull there, but I don't actually need the skulls anymore. So I'm gonna get flame storage here. And then do another ground jump. Hopefully that worked. It did not. Okay, this will work. And I pull out my stick and it's conveniently on fire. Kill these guys in a certain order. That lets you into Queen Goma's room. Nuts are on C. Down, don't like that. Fuck you. Stored Deku stick damage, so I don't. Should just re-equip, so I don't have to wait through this. Yeah, if you crouch stab, you use the last damage value you did. They didn't program a damage value for the crouch stab, so it doesn't know what to do. It just uses the last damage value. So by jump slashing with the Deku stick into the cutscene, that's the last attack I did. Is this Mirror Shield? It is. Path to Twin is Fountain. Well, I have everything I need for that except Lens of Truth to go out there, so that might be big old like red herring hint. I'm just gonna go back adult. I could go to the lake and set up Scarecrow song, but I'm just gonna go do these dungeons that I can do. I guess I'll grab the gold gauntlet check. Just because there's a chance that it's boomerang. But, and like there's no better time to do it than, I guess I have the warp song, so that's not even true. But it's better to do this than to get very far in a place and have to make the decision to like turn around or full clear it. Like if this is an item, then I get to go mode faster by getting it now than any other time. And there's a pretty good chance this is an item. Okay. Well, it wasn't, but that's fine. So I'm just gonna go do Forest and Fire Temple. I guess it is worth noting that strength is required to beat Forest Temple, so getting it in the graveyard might have been logically for this, but there were just too many in other places. I wish I could remember what the song was in the grave. Was that Epona's song? I don't think so. I think Epona was Minuet. So by doing a somewhat precise setup, I can hookshot these vines. Oh, I must have messed it up. This looks better. And that will let me do this dungeon sort of reverse. You're supposed to come from the other side, but you need a Song of Time to do that. Getting hit's fine because it knocked me up. It's just faster to do the rooms in this order. Oftentimes the normal way to do a dungeon in Randomizer is different than the normal way to do it in Vanilla, just because Vanilla, you don't have the item when you enter the dungeon, you get it in the dungeon, so a lot of the dungeons are designed to make you go around them twice. One time to get the item, one time to use it on all the places that you saw but couldn't enter the first time. But with Randomizer, most of the time you don't even bother going in the dungeon until you have the items you need to do it, so it's slightly different. Not all dungeons, but some dungeons have different orders that make sense based on your items. And that's the cool thing about Randomizer, is sort of what most people expect when they hear Randomizer. Like, oh, you're just gonna improvise every time and have to figure it out. There's usually an optimal path that most of the good racers know. It's not quite that cool, but sometimes there's different strats you can do based on which items you have. There's actually a cool one coming up. So I'm going to put on my hover boots. Climb this ladder. It's going to give me this angle. I'm going to go over here, and with the hover boots, you can get into this alcove and enter this room. So normally you're supposed to go up the dungeon, fall through a hole in the floor, and come down and get this on your way out, and that alcove just like lets you get back to that block puzzle room. But if you have hover boots, or there's a way to do it with just a angled jump slash, ricochet into the room. You can get that key and not have to climb this room multiple times. And it ends up being a little bit faster. Additionally, 1, 2, 5, 6. You can use bombs to avoid pulling and pushing these blocks the full way. You can ground jump on top of them and use your hover boots to sorry, just counting the block pushes. You can use hover boots and ground jumps to sort of skip some of the pushing. I don't do that because if you mess up the ground jump, it ends up wasting time, and there's like weird ceilings that make it easy to mess it up. And block pushing is sped up in Randomizer, so it doesn't even save that much time. So yeah, those are just other ways that other people use to speed this up. It's also worth noting that the block puzzle doesn't stay solved unless you finish solving it, like push it to the end. So if you do those skips and you don't, and you have to climb the room again because you fall down through the hole here, it ends up being a huge waste of time. So you gotta know all the strats and how to execute them. I'm just gonna take a quick peek, and that's small, so I'm not even gonna jump down. So yeah, normally you jump down, open that chest, fall through the hole there, and then have to climb back up. But because I did it that other way, I get to just do this, and I don't have to go climb that whole block puzzle room again. I think it saves like 15 seconds done optimally. It's something that I don't even attempt unless I have the hover boots, because the jump slash way is just kind of hard to do on VC for reasons that hopefully I don't have to explain. Basically, there's a position called ESS, which is just slightly out of the dead zone. Link will turn without moving. It's called ESS position. It's sort of like the smallest you can move. Din's Fire, don't like that, because that opens up shadow, which I didn't want to have to do. But a couple things are kind of pointing there. So that was an example of him dealing 2 damage to me. So any of those attacks, if they hit me, would have killed me. That's cool. Living dangerously. But yeah, so now the fact that I got everything for Shadow Temple kind of makes me think it's foreshadowing that I have to go to Shadow Temple to finish the seed. Because it was all sort of in hinted locations too. I don't have a great working memory, and being able to remember exactly where everything was is usually a big boon in this whole logic puzzle, because if I needed the minuet to get the Shadow Song, and minuet was in Kakariko, the windmill, like I think it was, then that's another thing sort of pointing me to Shadow Temple. Because it might be Saria's song is required too, and I need to beat Shadow to get that. So it could be in Shadow, it could be Saria's song, which opens up like 3 checks in the overworld. And that is certainly really. And since Saria's song is so deep in, it's for sure minuet locked. this chest doesn't waste any time because I have to wait for the ceiling. So that's another reason why I think it might be that serious song check. Just gonna do what I can for now, but I'm just keeping that in the back of my mind once I'm done with all these other required things. These known knowns. Once I'm done with the stuff that I know I have to do, I'll go to the stuff that I think I have to do. And also, the logic could just be faulty. So I have everything I think I need to do Spirit Temple, but the logic's telling me that Zora's Fountain is path to Twin Rovo. Which usually means, to get out there, you need to go to the Haunted Wasteland, and you need the Lens of Truth to see an invisible ghost. One of these Poghosts. But the path is always the same, and if you know the way there, you don't need the lens. You can just kind of go. Which is what most people in the races know how to do. But the logic won't let you go out there unless you have the lens. The logic thinks you need that to go out there if you don't have the warp song. So if the warp song is stuck and Spirit Medallion, the Fire Medallion, which Spirit Temple locks a song, and the dungeon itself has a song there. So if either of those two songs is the warp song, which is very likely, then you would need lens to get out there in the first place, according to the logic. So that all makes sense, which leads me to believe that that's what the logic is saying, is that lens is in the fountain. And I don't have to do that because I know the way out there, but Iron Boots could still just be in Ice Cavern like they usually are. Or they are in the normal game, I should say. And I do need Iron Boots for water, usually. I guess you can technically beat it without Iron Boots. But I still need Long Shot, so Long Shot could be there. I'm gonna save. Because I have crashed on this boss before. So... is this the real one? There's two Phantom Ganons. One's a fake one, one's the real one. There's a lot of noise coming from downstairs. Usually you can listen. There's more noise coming from the real one, but I kind of drowned out by other noise going on that's out of my control. He also appears brighter, but I didn't see the other one, so I couldn't really compare. Alright, that's phase 1. We played tennis. Really? Alright, so that's Forest Temple down. Oh. So Forest Temple is slightly uninteresting dungeon in that you need all the keys to beat it, so you kind of do the whole thing every time. You also need to kill all the Poes to get to the basement, so you have to go around the dungeon doing them. So Forest Temple you can't really speed up, just kind of is the way that it is. Fire Temple, on the other hand, is a very strange dungeon. The boss door is 2 rooms in the dungeon, so if I get the boss key early in the dungeon, I can just go fight the boss. Which sort of leaves me questioning how much of the dungeon I should do. Because if there's items up in the dungeon, I want to get them, but I won't really know. Fire Temple is usually pretty bad for items. There's a lot of chests, but there's 9 keys in the dungeon. The dungeon is designed around the idea that you're freeing the Gorons who are being fed to Volvagia, the dragon that's the boss. That's sort of like the lore. So every time you free a Goron, you get a key. So there's 9 keys in the dungeon and 9 locked doors. So there's a ton of checks, but they're all keys. It ends up being like 5, I think, real checks. And it usually ends up being front-loaded with keys, because you need the keys to get farther in the dungeon, so you usually have to get at least a couple of them early on. I needed to equip bombs. Oh, they got away. Alright, this is the mini boss, the Flare Dancer. There's 2 of these in the dungeon. I am going to do a jump slash with the Master Sword. For some reason, they got lazy and they made this enemy share its damage table with Ganon, the last boss. So Master Sword does twice as much damage. So I'm crouch stabbing with the hammer, but it's dealing Master Sword damage. The hammer has the property that if I hit the wall with it, even though it's dealing Master Sword damage, it knows that it's a hammer, and it knocks the guy out. But yeah, even if I had bigger on sword, the sword supposedly deals twice as much damage, I would be using Master Sword there, because it's twice as effective. Let's see, I already have... First 2 checks are 2 keys. Normally there's a key lock on the door on the other side that I entered, but they took it off in Randomizer, so there's just an extra key in the dungeon, because the dungeon would really only have one way to be beaten if that was key locked. Because the game would always assume that you had to waste a key there, even if it was useless, or use a key there if it was required. So, to open up the dungeon and make it slightly more interesting, they removed that key lock. Alright, so this is the sort of fire, the heat timer bottleneck room, we'll call it. This room, you have to get a bunch of keys and stuff on the sides, and you have to go up a slow elevator in the next room. So I want at least 5 hearts for this to have the timer sort of work out. Little camera manipulation. Oh, please, this isn't gonna work because I pulled out the ocarina. This is fine though. I can make it work. What do I do? Where's the keys? I'm probably just gonna drink this blue potion. I should have equipped it. Ooh, item. Boomerang. Yeah, so drinking this blue potion will fill up my health and give me the time I need. If I go in this room and drink it, it won't actually raise the timer. I have to drink it before I need to have the health entering the room. Little weird, but that's how it works. Like, I took damage there and it didn't lower the timer any more than it was already going. So it works both ways, but well, it can be used to your benefit as well as your detriment. You don't have to preserve your health in the room, you just have to preserve it before. Alright, by doing a side hop there, I didn't wake up those keys, and they can knock me off this platform, which is really annoying. That's a key. Like I said, I can skip a key in this dungeon, potentially. Oh, I don't like that angle. I'm gonna get a ground jump, hopefully. I'll run over here. Ground jump that block and drop a bomb, which is gonna hit this switch. And I can climb up before the fire. Normally you're supposed to push that block, and it's really slow, but with that little ground jump, you can skip a lot of that. Alright, so I do need please, fuck's sake. So I'm trying to C up, but there isn't a C up button on the GameCube controller. There's a C stick, and you have to mash it up, and it's actually awful to do that roll peek glitch. Like, if you have items on C left or C right, you can accidentally use them, which is really annoying with bomb chews and bombs, because you can run out of those items. If you're not careful. Especially bomb shoes. Yeah, I'm trying to C up, and rather than just pressing a button nice and easy, I have to press a stick. Wearing the hover boots makes this room easier. Alright, so here's the boss key. Unfortunately, I don't know if I should finish the checks at the top of the dungeon. I don't have a key. I guess I have to. This way? Yeah. So I'm just gonna go fight this boss, because the boss will have a key that will let me continue the dungeon if I wish. So since I know that the next couple of checks aren't it, I'm actually just gonna skip this and come back later. So I'm gonna bottle one of these fairies. this is just a safety strat. I probably wouldn't do this, please, in a real race. But also hover boots are needed to get over here logically, so maybe that's why they gave me the hover boots in Jabu. But yeah, so if I die with this fairy in a bottle, it will revive me and give me my heat timer back. So it's just a way to get twice as much time, basically. So normally you would think, if you only play this game casually, how do you beat this boss in 40 seconds? So there's a strat for this. So you heard that explosion and then the boss damage noise. There's actually 2 bodies for this boss, one in the hole, and that's the one that gets up and flies around, and then the one that pokes its head out. You can just barely use bomb damage to hit the one in the hole. And if you do it just the right way, you can keep damaging the boss enough that it skips the get up out of the ground and fly around animation and just goes right to the poke its head out, which is much faster. And you can sort of just very quickly kill it. I think you can beat the boss with 4.5 hearts this way. Maybe with like 4.25 if you get good RNG. You can also kill the boss, and if the heat timer runs out, the boss is still dead. You can just come back in the room, get the key or heart piece, whatever it drops, and finish. So I didn't end up using the fairy, but it was there. And if you ever mess that up and the boss gets up and flies around, it's really slow. So alright, so now I can go do Jabu Jabu's belly, which maybe I want to do because it was sort of hinted at. But that would require going back child, getting this, because I'm here and I'm never going to be back here. So, well, I will come back for the dungeon, but that's sort of a little bit out of the way. Oh, I got the Shadow and Spirit Medallions. What that means is that you get the light arrows in Temple of Time after you get those 2 medallions, so that was the light arrows check I just got. It's like a 10-minute cutscene that you don't have to watch because you're doing rando. Yay. So I now have to go to Jabu Jabu's belly. I don't have scale to get there quickly. I have the 2 warp songs that get me to places where scale would help, but I don't have scale itself. So I'm just gonna have to run out there. And this is probably the fastest way. We're 2 hours in. We have 2 dungeons down. I can do all of Jabu, and I've done half of it already. I can run out to Spirit and do all of that. So it's just a matter of if I find 2 scales and long shot or iron boots and long shot, I can do water temple. And I've got an hour and a half to do that. Underestimate. I might end up quote unquote cheating and doing water temple without long shot if it comes down to that, but we got time. Not gonna worry too much about it. Because Spirit Temple has a ton of checks. Grotto Valley has a ton of checks, and I haven't done it yet. Or Grotto Fountain. Like, there's a huge part of the map that I just haven't touched that has a lot of checks. Unfortunately, it's going to be what I call a needle in a haystack, where I just need a couple items, and the whole game is available to me. And it's just a matter of guessing. You can do a little bit of an educated guess in that I have a path to Morpha hint. But that was for Kakariko, and I don't remember what was there. Like, I know there was Hookshot, but I don't know what else. Oh, I should have grabbed the nuts. It's kind of too late now, but it's going to be super slow. These have nut drops. Seeds. There are guaranteed nut drops, but they're super late in the dungeon, so they don't really help me. It's not the way I want to be helped. So if you bring Rudo from the basement up top, she'll always respawn back up top, so you don't have to do the whole bottom loop again. So that's cool. This switch, something has to hold it down and nothing in the room works, but you can carry Rudo into the room. So I was trying to throw her on the switch so I wouldn't have to slow down to place her. There's a chest appearing there, but it's kind of tough to tell. Okay, it's small. Okay, so this room normally takes like 2 seconds if you just throw a Deku Nut, or 2. It just destroys these enemies. I actually don't know what happens if you fail to kill these in time. But doing this with Boomerang might actually fail. Okay. Please be like a nut capacity upgrade. It's a stick upgrade. I mean, that's cool because it gives me a bunch of sticks, but it's irony, or if it's not irony, it's the thing that most people think irony is. Wasn't what I was expecting. I guess what irony is. It's really only one way to do this dungeon. You just gotta kill all the tentacles in the right order. This dungeon's kind of boring. I really like the aesthetic, like the inside the fish. The walls are moving. All the enemies are like bacteria and whatnot. Oh. Boomerang sometimes has a mind of its own. But if you do this dungeon a bunch, it gets kind of boring. Hopefully this is the right spot. It doesn't look like it, but I'm just going to go for it. You can backwalk right by these guys. Yeah, just like that. Real fast. You can't roll with Rudo in your hands, so backwalking is the fastest way. If you have to maneuver a bunch, backwalking's slow if you have to. It's slow to start and slow to set up. So if you backwalk, you have to backwalk for a certain amount of time to sort of justify it. So that's why I take a second to sort of line that up. My back. Alright, so this guy's supposed to take a couple hits, but Deku Stick Jump Slash knocks him right out. And there's guaranteed nut drops in these pots. Just those two. We're gonna grab those because the boss of this, Baronade, much faster if you use Deku Nuts. Deku Nuts are like a super secret OP item that they give you right away that no one ever used casually, but really good at killing enemies quickly. Same with Deku Sticks. Randomizer sort of forces you to use Deku Sticks because it doesn't give you Deku Sword right away. So if you want to deal damage as child, that's sort of the only way. You have to manage your sticks. I don't really like it. I kind of wish they just gave you sword as child. Like, it's cool in its own way, but it's sort of what it selects for isn't what I want. By doing a certain boomerang throw, you can hit that switch without climbing up to the top of the room. Not familiar with that room, trust me, that saved a lot of time. Not too hard to learn. If I miss it, I just climb up. The climb of shame. So now here we are at the boss. Gonna throw the boomerang. I'm gonna equip these nuts that I talked about. Stun him real quick. Oh. Alright. Wait for them to separate, then stun real quick. Yeah, so normally those roll into him because he comes back up faster if you've taken damage. Yeah. Normally those berries, they're called, the jellyfish, will spread out and protect the inner heart thing. So you have to like throw the boomerang and it like separates them a little bit and eventually you can stun it and then slowly kill. But if you stun them all together before they spread out, it just keeps them all right in one place and then a Deku Nut kills them all real quick. Much faster than doing that normally. Right, and that is last... I guess we could maybe be forced to do Child Spirit. That's the last Child dungeon. And until we get Saria Song, probably we're not going back Child. There's a couple checks we can do. But they're sort of out of the way, and we can do all of Spirit, or all of Adults. It depends on the keys, but we can do... We have the items we need to do Adult Spirit, so we're gonna go try to do that. See how it goes. Yeah. Oh, I do have bottles, so I could do the Epona or Big Po. No, I got a hint for Big Po. And it's nothing. Alright, so I'm gonna call my horse over. I'm gonna ride over to Gerudo Valley area. I have to sneeze. Sorry if it's loud. RIP headphones. Oh, sorry about that. I'm suddenly cold because it was... Okay, so scale is down there, which means I will need iron boots, because that is iron boot locked. And the other way to get into Water Temple is with gold scale, which needs both the scales. That was an unfortunate but good bit of information to know that I have to find the iron boots. Where did I get Epona? Because it could be logic that I need. It's gonna be nighttime, isn't it? So I can quickly get in here. I want it to be daytime when I do this area. That opens up some checks, but I might actually just skip them till after the dungeon anyway. Because I am looking for items, but if they're in the dungeon, then I don't want to full clear this area. I'm gonna go here. Hookshot. By hookshotting, the Grotto will jump and get caught on that torch. And if I just turn around and stab the wall a bunch, the recoil from my stab will hit her and damage her. If you stab directly, she'll block, but if you turn around, she won't. Alright, so I'm gonna go out here. So now, normally you're supposed to kill 4 of them. Rando made it only 1 is required to get the Grotto card. Now I'm the Grotto's friend. And they'll just let me through. And I can open this gate. So now I can go out to the Desert Colossus. So iron boots, so hover boots get you through that river. Either that or long shot, logically at least. You can sort of just backwalk it with a precise, somewhat precise backwalk. There's a set of flags I'm trying to follow. There's a sandstorm, so it's kind of hard to see. Probably shouldn't do this. No matter when I do it, it's going to be kind of annoying. So let's just do it now. Lighting those torches gives you a chest. Alright, so now this is the fun part. We are at Haunted Wasteland. And normally you're supposed to use a lens to follow a ghost. Where am I? Okay. But if you sort of just know the way, you can follow certain landmarks in the ground and avoid. There's a bunch of void planes that will go like, oh, you got lost, and send you back. But you just know the way. You can just kind of run out here without using Lens of Truth. Like, the path is always open. You just use the ghost to find it, but if you know where it is, you can just navigate it. At different times of day, it's brighter and there's less sand. Never timed this correctly. I got a particularly sandy adventure. I might have to do that in reverse. So there's the way Spirit Temple is laid out is there's 2 checks on both adult and child side, and you need a key to get past the first 2 checks for both adult and child. So if there's no key on the adult side, that means there's a key on the child side, and I have to come back as child and start the dungeon as child. Similarly, if there's no key on child side, it means I have to come back as adult. So, also, going through here is going to set it time of day to morning. And give me the sun song. Okay. So, the warp song for here isn't... It's interesting. Alright, so I mentioned the key logic of Spirit for weird things. So like, the first 2 checks is one of the weird things. Also, it assumes you use your keys the worst way. So, let's say I get key here, and then another key in the other check. Let's say they're both keys. It assumes that I'm going to use this key as adult, and then go to the child side and use the key as child. That's sort of like a wasteful way to use that key, because I can already get to the, a little deeper in the dungeon as adult only, but it assumes I do it the worst way. So, sometimes that leads to weird situations. There's a key that you need Din's Fire to get as adult. There's a trick you can do as child to get it. Not really a trick, but I don't think it's in logic, or the logic assumes you're child and have gotten all the way through. So this seed is expecting me to be adult, to be child here. What that means is I can't continue the dungeon And I need a song. Now, the only place to really get a song is the ice cavern. Oh, this is not good at all. So yeah, I could either beat Water Temple, because that will give me a song, but I can't do that. I need Iron Boots. Or Ice Cavern has a song, and if that song is Requiem, then I can do it. So I'm gonna go out to Zora's Fountain, because that's still Path to Twinrova. I got all these other items, but there's still a pretty good chance that that's like Long Shot or whatever. Or Iron Boots, which lets me do water, which lets me get Requiem to warp out to Spirit and do Child Spirit. So it's good in a way that I think this item will help me do both the dungeons I need to do. It's bad in a way that I'm going to end up doing Spirit last, which means there's not going to be good stuff in Spirit, and the appeal of Spirit is that there's so many checks there. You just want to do it as soon as possible to get stuff while you do dungeons that you have to do. And it's a little annoying that I kind of went out there, skipped everything just to get there, and turns out that was a waste of time. Absolutely waste of time. But I couldn't know that, and that was definitely the right mathematical play, I think. Was assuming that I was out of logic. Because it's still a 50-50 whether I can get... There's still one check in the fountain that I can't get, so... Oh. The good news is, the only thing I can think of right now that I'm missing is Long Shot. And, well, that would help in Spirit, specifically. So if it is Iron Boots required Long Shot, then once I find Iron Boots, I can just go here and get Long Shot, and that's... I know where it is. But if it's Long Shot or something right here, then I won't know, but okay, it is Iron Boots right here. So this is a little tricky. In that kind of don't want to do Ice Cavern now, but I guess I have to because I'm expecting a song. Because like if the second hookshot is in Water Temple, no, Water Temple's barren. I have a hint for that, so that actually helps a lot. Because there's a chance that doing Water Temple would have given me the item I need to beat it, and then that would be super fast. But since I know that it can't be that, and I know Iron Boots is required, that kind of leads me to believe that it is the song. But I need Long Shot to get that song anyway. I need Long Shot to beat. Yeah. So once I find Long Shot, I shouldn't expect to find anything else, but until that point, I should probably continue. Which probably means this song is not going to be Requiem, not going to be the song I'm looking for, because that's the only way it sort of makes sense logically, is that Beating Water Temple is the song I'm looking for. But yeah, this song could be useful in other ways, so I'm just gonna keep going and get it. And also, like, this place isn't bad for checks once you're here. It's sort of out of the way, which is why you avoid it, even though there's a song. But once you're here, it's actually it's like good once you've committed to it. So definitely gonna clear it as much as I can. But I'm not expecting this song to be the song I was looking for. It could still be Bolero, which would help me get back to fire if I ever needed to check deep fire. But that's probably the last thing I'm going to do. This seed is deep fire. It's just very far out of the way. So this is the block puzzle room. So this is a series of glitchless jumps that lets you skip pushing the block. It's not the most precise thing in the world, but if you are on ice, and if you mess up, if you void out anywhere in this dungeon, it warps you back to the beginning. Normally it takes you back to the last door you entered, but this dungeon has no doors. It's just one open dungeon, so if you void out, it brings you back to the beginning of the dungeon, so it is kind of a time commitment. Hover boots let you skip some stuff too, and ground jumps also let you skip some stuff. You can actually do this all glitchlessly, but it's much faster and more consistent to use ground jumps if you've got them. The first jump is one of the easier ones, and if you mess it up, you're just like there and ready to do the ground jump anyway, so I always go for it if I can, and it's cool to show off. Right, Wolfos. I fought a bunch of these before. They take 8 times damage from the back, so just wait for them to turn around. Let them slash at you, it usually helps. I'm opening this chest because that's the condition for getting the song. Song of Time. Oh, that's probably the worst one. It does open some checks, but so where else would iron boots? I'm actually voiding out on purpose now because that gets me back to the beginning and I want to leave. Besides Water Temple, Iron Boots really only helps in one check in Grotto Training Grounds and Lake Hylia. So I'm gonna go, because I still need Longshot to beat Water Temple. So I'm gonna go try those. There's still a good chance that it's not that, But also I've got nothing better to do. Oh, I didn't set up Scarecrow's song. Alright. So if you shoot the sun as it turns day, this is how you get fire arrows normally. Oh, I guess it was day and I turned it night. I meant it to turn night to day. This is a very annoying check to have to do. If you don't have Sun Song, you have to be here at the right time. And you have to be right on the pedestal or standing next to it, at least. I think I got one of the scales, or I can get one of them if I need to. So it's a little weird to not come to Lake Hylia at all until 2.5 hours in this race. In the seed, rather. It's not a race. But this is how it is. Alright, so by doing that, if you touch the bottom with anything besides iron boots on, you get this reward for diving. So by hookshotting that and taking the boots off, it kind of let me cheat. Normally you need gold scale to do that. I don't know if that's in logic or not. Get on Epona. Alright, so now I'm going to do Southern Hyrule. There's a couple checks here that are Sphere 0. Well, one that's Sphere 0, one that's 2 that are hidden by bombs. Pretty early in the logic for this seed. Long shot, unfortunately, could be anywhere. Unless it's in Kakariko and I missed it, because I got Kakariko's Way of Hero Morpha. I'm pretty sure I've gotten everything in Kakariko. Oh, I haven't got the bow mini game. Alright, I'm actually gonna finish up this one check and then warp to Kakariko to do that. That actually is probably it. I mean, it could have been the hook shot and the song. Oh, I should have read the hint stone. Yeah. Yeah, this is a little weird putting this off this late. I just kind of forgot about this check. Because once I got the bow, I could do forest and fire, and I got boomerang along the way, which gave me Jabu. So it was like, there's never really a good time to come back and do this. And I just got all the other checks super early. Like I even did Kako's. It's the same mini game you did as a child, just a little harder because you don't know the order that they're gonna come out in. Not here. Okay. Yeah, Roof Guy was Hookshot. And I think the song was Minuet. I don't know what that means though. Maybe it was a Pona's song to go out to Grotto that I got in Minuet. In the Minuet check, rather. Fortunately, I have the memory of a goldfish, and I might have all the hints. One thing I have considered, but I don't think it's ever come up, is restarting. It's like making a new file and just checking what that song is. Why am I looking? I know it's here. Just if I can double check that song and it's something poignant, I'll know. Or it might help me know. But unfortunately, no matter what the song is, like if it was Song of Storms, then I got a bunch of stuff in Bottom of the Well, like The Letter, I think Magic? Yeah, Magic, so like it could, all those things point to so many different things. Like it could be Magic for Shadow Temple, which I still haven't done. Oh, there's a bridge here now, by the way. Please get down. There's a setup for this. I don't know it. I'm just gonna try this. So if you send a chew down here, you can blow up this box with it. That's way too low. And that, you can just kind of see what it is. The alternative is to... Oh, that was a little high. Oh, I don't have any more. Well, unfortunately, I won't figure out what that is. The other thing, I might just have to come back as child, unfortunately. You can't get that as adult. You're meant to use long shot to get across, but I'm looking for long shot. It could still be there because you can always get that as child, but Skulls is a milk bottle. Oh my goodness, climb the ladder. So I went in the tent and left to set my respawn point there. Because there's no good way out of here as adult. So I'm just gonna have to die. So I'm Ocarina buffering damage. There's a cooldown timer for how much damage you can take from a bomb, but it's like a hard timer. So by pulling out the Ocarina, I like spend more frames, like getting rid of my iframes, and I'll just take damage, multiple bits of damage from the same bomb. That'll quickly damage me down to rewarp back up here. And the only alternative is to jump down, go to the lake, and ride my horse back up, which is super slow. There is a way you can actually clip out of bounds and void, but we're not allowed to intentionally go out of bounds in this rule set. Like if intentionally going out of bounds would help us, we're cheating. So still have an hour left, so I'm not gonna start cheating yet. I'm probably, if I want to make estimate, I might have to start soon, and I could beat Water Temple with what I have. The annoying thing is I don't know how much of Spirit I'm going to have to do. And you might notice I don't have the light arrows yet either. Sorry, I just want to concentrate on this. I need to get these last 3. So if I get 1500, I get 2 items. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I still need light arrows, but when I get to the last boss, Ganon, he'll tell me where they are. And they could be anywhere, logically. They could be in... I have all the items, but like if I didn't have the items I needed to get into Shadow Temple, for instance, they could just still be in Shadow Temple. But since I have almost all the items, it's not really anywhere that's too far out for me, but I still need to beat Water... I need to beat Water Temple to get to Spirit. So it's kind of unfortunate that I have to start... I might have to start cheating earlier because I don't know how long Spirit's going to take. Eye drops. I never got the Bigoron hint. So remind me not to save warp out of here. Because if I save warp, it might mess up the eye drops. But I'm going to do this. And if I don't die or save warp, I should still have the eye drops, and that's pretty good. Actually gonna open this, hoping for health. So I'm gonna go to this main room and look around. There's a big chest over there. I don't need to go all the way. That looks like a big chest. Well, there's definitely a small one. Please fucking see up. Can't really tell. Right, nothing in there. I do want to be a little careful because there's some forced damage, we'll call it. I mean, it's not actually forced, but it's certainly faster to take damage some of the time. I'm gonna save. I usually don't go this way. hearts. I might just go around this room to get the hearts. Okay, never mind. Alright. So, this is another place with weird key logic. There's 9 keys here. You only need 7 to get to the end. But there's 2 that you can sort of waste if you don't use Song of Time to get up here or don't have Song of Time. Okay, that is a big chest, so I will need a lot of keys. Okay, so there's Gold Scale, which only gets me that 1 check that I got, and was nothing. I don't actually know if shot does this. Okay. Oh, come on. And I actually do have the Zora Tunic if I need it, so I actually never really was in danger, but I do have to fight Stalfos. So I did still want this health. Ow. So Iron Boots could be Way of the Hero in here, because you need Iron Boots for this check to get Long Shot. Once I get Long Shot, I'm out of here. Still could be Light Arrows, but Ganon will tell me, and I'll just come back. It's not that bad to come back. Oh, I missed. So if you put the Iron Boots on while you're swimming, you can kind of swim with them even though you're not supposed to. Makes this a little easier. Please put the boots on. Unfortunately, this room is just awful. Those enemies are awful. And normally, you're supposed to pause, like in vanilla, you're supposed to pause and unpause to equip Iron Boots. That's way slower than what I'm doing, which is just pressing a D-pad button. Certainly one of the better improvements that Randomizer added was quick equipping boots. Alright, so I'm just going to go around here, get the keys, and then I can get that Did I lose my crouch stab damage? Ah, so now I'm 1 hit away from dying again. Great. I don't need all the keys, but I think I need 2 more, at least. Might as well just go the whole way. Really? You have jump slash at that wall, it'll push you over those flames if you do it just right. Hopefully I can erase this boulder. I cannot. sort of got off cycle there. So this next room is kind of tough in that there's 4 of those Wolfos, and killing them all fast needs them all to turn around at the same time, which usually involves letting them hit you, but they can kill you. And none of them are turning around. Dude, what am I doing? I meant to turn around there. I guess I'll hope this doesn't mess up the eye drops. It fucking did. Now it probably beats redoing this whole area. I did save when I entered. I should have saved right there. And it only matters if I have to do eye drops for that check, but I haven't gotten that hint, unfortunately. I'll probably just do it this way. I should have done it like this before. Like, normally you're supposed to do that, and then a quick spin will kill them all. Alright. Long shot. Magic 2. Invisible wall. In the first iterations of Randomizer, Lens of Truth was logic for all these invisible walls. So oftentimes the hint stones would tell you that you needed an item and it would be Lens of Truth. And all the people that knew where all that stuff was, like all the invisible walls, the logic was super annoying because it kept telling them, go grab Lens of Truth in this far off place that you don't need to go to otherwise, because you need it to beat Grotto training ground or whatever. Like if there's a key up there, the seed thinks you need Lens of Truth to see there to get the key. But anyone who does Randomizer enough just sort of knows where all the invisible walls are, so they changed it around Season 3? We're in Season 5 now, I think. They changed it so it only going out to the Haunted Wasteland and the minigame. There's a minigame that has 5 50-50s, and you use Lens to sort of cheat. So it's 1 in 32 to beat it, or have Lens and cheat. So that is a Lens required check. Doesn't reach. Great. So those 2 things are only things that the game thinks you need Lens for, currently, according to the logic. But it used to be basically anything that was Is there another slug, or I'm hearing the dangerous music, but it's Randomizer, so the music's randomized too. Alright. try to show getting this key. I'm probably just gonna take damage and die, but that's also good because it'll get me to the beginning of the dungeon, and that's faster. Now that I don't have to worry about my eye drops. Let's just let it be in this check. The big chest I saw. If it's not here, then I'll be a little sad. Not only did I waste time, I also wasted my eye drops. Basically, if I was able to keep the eye drops, it lets me skip like 4 minutes of cutscene. Okay, light arrow. So it was required, but just not right away. Did everything else here? What are we? We're at 3 hours. All right, I'm just gonna cheat as much as I can. There's still a chance that this isn't it, because I still might. Nah, I don't think I'll need long shot for spirit. I could actually look up this spoiler log. All right. Where am I? Kakariko, open grotto chest, and graveyard hookshot. Oh. Okay, it is Shadow Temple. It has visible spikes chest. That's pretty deep in shadow. Yeah, that's where I would have gone next. What am I doing? But I'm just gonna skip it. I mean, yeah, I don't know how long Spirit will take. I should have time, but I've already looked up the spoiler log. Please. So normally you hit that switch and water comes up. But you don't have to. If you have hover boots, you can backwalk that. Oh look, the boss key, how fortuitous. So normally you need long shot to get across to the boss, and that's all it really does. But I'm gonna skip that. glitch. So I'm gonna poke the wall with the hammer. Pause buffer. You can do it without buffering. Okay. And I'll equip iron boots. And that'll give me a speed boost and no long shot required. So what I'm supposed to have done is go to Shadow Temple, and like halfway through the temple I'll get long shot and then I have everything I need. But we are sort of closing in on the estimate, and I still have a whole spirit temple to do, so it's one of the easiest items to just skip. There's still a chance I make it in time. If this were at the marathon, I could maybe say when I finish, I'll call time, but leave the timer running, reset, and see if I can make it into Shadow, and then you'll know what everything is. The trouble is, like, if it's not in Shadow, and it could be anywhere, if it's not in Shadow, then I don't know for sure that I make it in time. Because I could do all of Shadow, it's not there, and then I have 15 minutes to come here, beat this boss, and then do all of Spirit, which is going to require a child and adult trip. I guess I could figure out where the Spirit Temple boss key is. Mirror Shield chest. Okay. Using spoiler logs is super OP. Alright, well, I'll definitely make it if I use the spoiler log. So this is the song you get from getting Forest Medallion. It's that Requiem that I need. And conveniently enough, I get to go Child now. Well, I have to go Child to do Child Spirit key. I wonder what I wasted so much time on. I did all of Ice Cavern. I mean, I was gonna do Shadow, so like, there is a chance that I do complete it, because that's where it was, but great. Really? All right. Like, I definitely don't take the full 4 hours for the seed. Now, this was a weird one in that it made you Little trick, grab this ledge and drop. The enemy flies into the fire and you don't have to watch the cutscene because you get the void out cutscene. Alright. That's our key. It's actually, I was gonna climb the child side, but let's just go adult. Like it sort of wastes that key to use it as child, because you can just use it as adult and still get to all those rooms. I can barely hear fucking Ocarina. Should I lower this volume? I think it was Boomerang in Ice Cavern? No. I guess I did go out to Spirit Temple, and then have to leave. That's always super slow. Dipped Forest. Kind of slow, but not the worst. Maybe I should not cheat in the practice ones, but I do need to practice making sure I get in time, so I need to like practice cheating just to know. Like to know my cheating is gonna fit the estimate. Nice Pastoral Spirit Temple. Huh, surprised the Lizfoles didn't wake up from walking through the room. Oh. Well, I don't need that, but let's open it. We got time. See what we would have got had we gotten in here earlier. Pull it back. Alright, so now we have 2 keys. And that's all we need to beat the adult side. This Beamos deal a full heart of damage, a little danger. I jumped in the hole, nice. Alright. Gotta hope to not die. Wake up that statue and he'll open the switch for you. Ooh, piece of candy. Get my health. Immediately get wrecked. So this is a safe spot in the one of the Iron Knuckles corners. Unfortunately, there's a chair behind him, and if you poke the chair with your sword, it kind of pushes you back and out of the safe spot, so you gotta kind of move around a little anyway. Also, if he moves, like he walks around you, he can push you or change where that safe spot is. Set up to get up here before. Oh, okay. That guy turns and sees you quick enough. You can mess up your day and you have to wait a whole cycle. Glad that didn't happen. I have crashed in this room before. I'm not gonna save, but if this were the actual marathon, I would please push the statue. You let those guys live, they can hit you and it pushes you off, so you don't have to keep pushing, but the statue still goes the whole way. So this Iron Knuckle doesn't have the midpoint where it loses its heavy armor. So you just get to keep stabbing it. So Twin Robo, one of the most RNG heavy boss fights. There's these two witches. One is the fire, one is the ice. You have to reflect one of their attacks to hit the other. And you need a mirror shield to do that. So this is a hard required mirror shield. So what you want to do is get them to line up such that you can hit them. So see how the fire one was behind me? There was nothing I could really do. What you're trying to do is get them into favorable positions, and if you shoot them with a hook shot, they'll spin. It's like a dodge animation or something. Please, what is this? But they just kind of move around randomly, so you gotta hope they let you stun lock them in a nice... Like, if they're in a bad place, there's no point in stun locking them, so you have to wait for them to go to a nice place. You can sort of manipulate that by moving yourself to open up more, but sometimes you're just at their mercy. Alright, that's phase one. That's probably the most RNG part, but there's still more to go. So in phase two, they're gonna shoot shoot one side, fire or ice. At first, it's very predictable. 3 fire, then 3 ice. But as you damage them, it gets less predictable and more RNG. So hopefully I can one cycle. It's really hard to... Okay. It's hard to do with Master Sword. You gotta time it pretty well. With Bigger on a Sword, you just mash and they die. But as they get up to fly away, you can like hit them and stun lock them. But you gotta be pretty well timed. Alright. Walk. Warp. And that is our last medallion. So now that we have all 6 medallions, the bridge to Ganon's castle will appear. Oh, I think I know. So I went out to Jabu for one check. But I think that was like required because I remember getting something good there. I think it was a big chest because I did open it. It's like I had to double dip Jabu, which means I had to go to Jabu twice. Didn't get warp songs for that until a little later. Why are you still alive? Please? Okay. Okay. Right, Dino Fulls, now Stalfulls. Alright. This is another one of those staircases. Ooh, I like that sound effect. So we need a hammer, empty bottle, light arrows. Save. Alright. Oh, what? He's not supposed to deflect that if you use a bottle. I don't know what happened. What? That is so weird. Come on. I'm gonna just climb, and now this time he's gonna pound the ground and... Okay. Yeah, there's like special code that makes him hit it slower if you have a bottle, which usually makes this phase harder, but it like on the first hit it makes it so he can't deflect it back, or he's not supposed to. Maybe they changed that in Randomizer. Really? Do the big douchebag attack, yeah. Okay. Not the best Ganon fight, but that's why we cheated, so we'd have some time. Alright, so I'm gonna jump slash with the Master Sword into this cutscene. That's gonna store the Master Sword. Jump slash damage, which does 4 damage to Ganon. All your other items do 1. We're gonna finish this fight 4 times as fast as we're supposed to. I'm gonna crouch stab with the hammer. That's gonna deal with 4 Master Sword damage, so we can just recycle instead of like the 10 or whatever you'd normally have to do. Now we have the Master Sword, and we can actually just use the Master Sword. Can hit his head or his tail while he's still trying to get up. Now he's much faster and turns around faster, and his tail starts up, so you have to jump to hit it or very precisely crouch stab. Once it goes down, you can crouch stab it pretty easily. Alright. And I missed. And that's less than 320, but I had to cheat for basically 2 dungeons and skip Shadow. So yeah, I don't know where that went wrong. Maybe this was just a slow seed. Oh, DC had good items. Yeah, I kind of wonder what's the playthrough. There's only 15 spheres. I didn't do extra fire temple. Hook shot in the first minute. I guess I did Cuckos, which took like 3 minutes, but I got hookshot in the meanwhile, so like. Let's see, I get the bomb bag. Graveyard hookshot. Chest of strength. Cheek was lullaby. Oh, I guess skull mask is a slow thing. So windmill was minuet, which was. But I got Saria's somewhere along the way. One of Well, Rudo's letter. Fire Temple was Boomerang. Yep, that was the bombable wall. Then Sheik gives you Nocturne. Saria song gives you Epona. Skull reward was bow, but I got a different bow. Either would work. I got fire keys. Maybe it's because I took so long to go do fountain, but I was doing dungeons. It's not like I was doing other stuff. Inspire. Yep, magic. Jabu's hovers. Yep. Mirror Shield was Queen Goma. And Hookshot and Shadow. Morpha, Requiem, Spirit. Yeah, it was what was Bottom of the Well had Rudo, but that's all it had, right? Ice arrows, it had one magic. I guess I did Lake Hylia and Tyrol Field. Like, you kind of just always do those. Maybe I was just slow in general. I did die a couple times. Maybe I was just slow. I don't know. But yeah, at least I was able to know when to start cheating and get underestimate, so. I do need to practice that as well, but I should probably just keep doing them. Hopefully it'll be a good seed at. I mean, I'll probably get one vetted to make sure it's not awful, but like, what's good for, like, someone else could have finished this really fast because they like Ice Cavern, or are better at following this mess of hints. Actually, I kind of want to see what the hints. Does the spoiler log tell what the hints are? Gossip stones. So Kakariko, Hookshot, like it was probably Minuet, but it could have been Bow, but there were other bows. Yeah, it was Hookshot, Bow, and Minuet. Oh, Saria's was... Yeah, Saria's was Song of Time, so you needed Minuet to get to Forest. And Forest had Hovers or Dins? It had one of those. Din's Fire. So yeah, you needed Minuet to get to Forest, get Din's Fire to get Longshot to beat Morpha. And that was the logic. Okay. So yeah, maybe I should take better notes so that exact situation doesn't happen where I get that hint super late and I don't know what it means. I do have separate spots on my tracker for where I got stuff. Because this situation happened to me a lot early on. I just like, I get the hint 2 hours in for like CAC, Way of the Hero. I'm like, oh, I got everything in CAC and I don't remember what I got there. It's just a little slower to write more down, but lets me go. Okay, so Minuet went to Forest, went to Din's, went to whatever. Like, oh, maybe I should go shit. I think I would have got there this seed because I was headed to Shadow next, but maybe I should have known better. I think if I play faster, I get there, you know. Unfortunately, Dragonhead chest was water boss key, so if I didn't use the spoiler log to figure that out, I would have done all of water, because that's usually the last one I get, so that's like 15 minutes, maybe a little less now that I can like peek, but so I definitely wouldn't have made it in time. I had to do Shadow and Water. And Spirit would have been a little slower, though it would have been Go mode, so it probably would have ended up about the same. But whatever. That's why we're practicing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm just kind of talking to myself. But yeah, I'm gonna stop the stream now. Hopefully I get to do, I'm going to do more of these. Just, practice. I might do a dedicated stream that's just like route Shadow. Just do Shadow 5 times in a row. Do Spirit 5 times in a row. Do Forest. Maybe learn some faster strats than what I do. But we'll see. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching.